Hey guys, welcome back to another exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin with your host, Justin Wise, lead analyst and co-founder at CrackingCryptocurrency.com. Hopefully you guys are doing absolutely fantastic wherever you happen to be tuning in from today. We're going to have a fantastic show. I don't even know where to start. Of course, today's episode is brought to you by the Premium Trading Group. Make sure to check them out at premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. We've got so much to talk about. We're going to talk today about Russia's plan to legalize the confiscation of cryptocurrency, Google expanding into banking, and institutionalized deposits of Bitcoin coming soon to your local retail bank. So we've talked previously about institutional investment and institutional custody via the backed warehouse and other third-party solutions as well. And we're going to talk today about regular retail banking options opening up the doors, to be redundant, but to retail investors and retail holders and retail speculators on cryptocurrency assets, particularly Bitcoin and Ethereum, of course, are big majors. And of course, we're going to talk about the reality or the fear, I would say, that is spreading through the DMs, that is spreading through the Telegram groups, that is spreading through Reddit, that is spreading through stock twits of the bull market being over. We're going to discuss my current positions, what we're doing as a group, and we're also going to talk about potential trade setups. So with that being said, guys, I shall not waste any time. Let's get over to the live scene. And first, we're going to give away some crypto as we do every single day on this channel. So big shout out to this month's crypto comment giveaway sponsor, Spectre Security Coin. Make sure to go check them out at spectresecurity.io for all your security needs. Let's go, guys. And here we are at the YouTube random comment picker. We're going to load a comment from yesterday's show. And yesterday's show was Bitcoin supply and demand pattern revealed, altcoins staged for liftoff in the empire of Binance, where we discussed Binance adding 180 currency pairs, randomly picking a winner. And Ken D, my good friend, hit me up in the Discord and I will gladly tip you some crypto. And that is a long comment, but I'll do my best. He says, man, long day yesterday, bizarre, even for me. And that's saying something. Great info as always, Justin. Got a question, though, about possible entry points into Bitcoin. I have a few small orders sitting, and if you have a couple minutes to look at order blocks, could you tell me your opinion of these possible future entry points? 7,400, 5,510, 3,470. I had arrived at these some time ago and haven't revisited them, but figured I had chosen them because they were probably likely catch and hold spots or otherwise prior support that might be triggered on another down step and or wicked into on such. Call it 74, 55, and 35 for round numbers. Ideas, thoughts, insults, or death threats? Well, based on where we currently are, I find it unlikely that we're going to descend to that secondary or tertiary target, but we can talk about the reality of the first one here as we kind of delve into the charts, and I'll give you my analysis and opinions on those. So let me copy pasta those into the show notes, and let's get over into the live scene. What's going on, guys? Good to see you. Here we are in the studio, in the office. Let me slide these down, and we will discuss these when we get to the request section. All right. You know what I just realized? I don't have the live chat. Hold on a second, guys. Until I get the studio reconfigured for tomorrow, I do have to look at the chat on my phone if I do want easy access to it. That's what she said. All right. Man, what a lag on YouTube. I'm not going to lie. Shout out to everybody watching on DLive and Twitch. All right, let's do the roll call, guys. Cryptonomics, Josh White, Ricky Thompson, Ron Legato, Scrooge McDuck, Farbod. We've got Mastache, Profit Bear, Agency, Robin, Wendy Brown Eye, It's Hard, JJ Beach Bum, Third Eye Trader. Good to see you, my brother. Haven't seen you in a minute. And Bob Smith. And Saintsy coming in over there on DLive, my good friend. He says, learn, burn, and get completely wrecked. It's the only way. All right. Hopefully you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Make sure to sound off. Let me know how you're doing in the chat. This is November the 14th, 2019. Foul year of our Lord. Glorious day. Glorious day. It's not snowing. The sun is coming out. Hopefully it's going to melt the snow. I talked about going grocery shopping last night. I definitely didn't do that. Who wants to do that in the snow? That is ridiculous. All right. Digital Daddy, what's up, man? No, Bob Smith. You're awesome. Brett, how you doing, my brother? Okay, let's break this. Let's break this action down, because that's what everybody wants to know. I mean, the fear, the greed, the panic is overwhelming. The fear, the greed, the panic is overwhelming. So let's talk about a few things. Let's bring up the. You guys are gonna laugh at all the lines, but it's okay. These are. I still have a bunch of lines on here from looking at some tertiary things with a student, not only last night but also this morning. So forgive them. But I just wanted to kind of point out any and all opportunities to explain a concept. We'll get into that later. Don't worry about it. But anyways, where are we still at? We're still consolidating. We are still accumulating directly at the order block. Also the monthly low. What is the low of the month? The low of the month is 8,549. And the low on today's candle was 8,555. Ironically enough, again, exactly the area prior to that 12-hour misanthropy, exactly where I wanted to be going long from. We talked about 8.8, 8.7, and 8.55. So we're at this turning point, guys. If this level breaks, it's going to break. And that's why I have, as you can see on the chart, boom, on the streamer account up there, about 6,000 contracts long right at this point in time. And have the stop market order in there to flip me short should we actually broach this level around 84.61, where I'll be flipped into a short and I'll be looking to take price down to 82.08, 79.91, which is the next turnaround point, which is the next level of demand. Now, I'm not going to be overly optimistic. I'm not going to be setting bids down in that area, to be quite honest with you, because that, to me, let's think about this. 42% rally to the upside, and if there is zero follow through on this, then that would make the case, again, it's possible to just have a more pronounced drawdown until we actually do find the actual level of demand where buyers step in and reverse the price up, and we do end up going on this bullish stream that everybody is screaming about, and that's absolutely fine. And overall, what I think is more likely. Now, I don't know. I don't do the whole long-term price predictions. Price moves in a direction, and you follow the dominant trend and you trade in that direction. People who think they know exactly where price is going to go or when are lying to you or ridiculous. But in any way, shape, or form, Again, my hypothesis is still largely the same. Large movement off the bottom showed a lot of strength, and it would be highly unlikely. Bitcoin generally does not put in these large movements, the third largest movement in Bitcoin's history, with zero follow through. But if we do crack this level, if we do break this level, now what's interesting about this is that there's actually, if we look down at our volatility filter, we can see that it's ticked up today. That is the signal that that one would have been looking for. Let's go back and look. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to. Let me make sure that I don't have smoothed minks on, because I was looking at some charts this morning. No, cool. We're still on stock EMA, just as we should be. Unfortunately, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're past the qualifying bar trade. We're past the 3-bar trade rule. So even if on the daily time frame, even though Wadatar explosion is now signaling that volatility is returning to the market, per our risk strategy, this is not a trade or a setup that we can take. So we do need to kind of wait for the reset, which means minks need to cross above the noise line and then cross back down to give us a continuation signal. That's really the only appropriate way that we could be looking to enter at this point in time. Now, obviously, you guys are free to do and trade however you want. This is just my application of the strategy. This is just the application of the strategy that I share on the stream. This is one particular application of the course that I teach of Pathways to Profit to build a technical strategy. So again, you guys might have a different system that you're looking at home. You guys might have a system that is absolutely signaling for you to take a short today, and that's absolutely fine. You guys might have a system that is signaling you to take a long today. Now, keep in mind that you're not going to have a signal to go along, because signals are generated through momentum and are going to be in the direction of the way the price is moving. You need confirmation of price moving in a direction to have the confidence to continue to take price in that direction. It's giving you a statistical probability that price is likely to continue moving in that direction, i.e. making trading in that direction attractive. When we're talking about reversal trades, we need to have a clearly defined level of supply or demand that establishes itself in a trackable, plottable area of support and resistance. In my opinion, that's the only way that we can be looking to take reversal trades. They need to be related to significant levels of demand or supply in the market, because Bitcoin as an asset with value, unlike foreign currency markets, is an asset that has elements of supply and demand in it. So that is being consistent. That's the thesis that this trade is based off of. But again, looking at the way that volatility has dropped off and looking at volatility ticking up today, definitely want to be prepared, because if this level breaks, I find it unlikely that it would be a stop loss on at that point in time. Typically, when we're talking about significant lows, price either breaks and continues to break in a significant fashion, or it bounces. So this trade is going to be predicated on the latter and not the former. Other than that, we're going to go down and look at some lower time frames, look at potential trade setups over the last 24 hours. We'll go look at the movement down from last night. But before we do that, let's just take a look at a few other things here. Let's see. Now, I'm just going to get rid of this because this is annoying me. Trend lines. Now, on the weekly time frame, we do have something interesting. Not yet. We'll have to see where the weekly actually signals for the short. But if we do end up breaking this level on the daily, and we do end up descending further down into the bowels of El Diablo to slide down here to this next order block, then it is likely that the weekly will actually close and give us a short signal as well on the weekly time frame, which would not be an overly positive thing either. Let's take a look and see here. Yeah, this would actually be the first. This would actually be the first full short signal on the weekly time frame that we've gotten this year. Let's go over and look back at 2018. Here, which led to this, and obviously here, which led to that. So not extremely positive, but not confirmed yet. So we've got about 4 more days left in the week. We've got obviously today, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday before we have to really consider that as well. We also talked about the monthly as well. We talked about the monthly and the potential short signal being generated from time transformation. The first monthly time transformation cross under that we've gotten this year as well. Also not fantastic signs as well. So therefore, the original trade that I wanted to take on the daily time frame, which is going to be our tradable time frame, was the long off of this order block, was the long off of this area of demand, excuse me. And if this trade pushes me into a short, then I'll have a very good short trade to the downside. But until I see buyers step in, until I see a significant turn of the market, I'm going to be short for the foreseeable future. But as it sits right now, I've seen nothing to pull me out of this trade. I've seen nothing to tell me that the chop will stop, or that the chop will not commence, and that we won't continue to bounce up and down and up and down and up and down. And again, the higher factor from this is still this concept that Bitcoin rallied 42% off of its lows, and it is very unlikely that we get no follow through on that. No follow through on that. That would be very, very, very unlikely. Now, possible, and we can see the other confluence with other time frames. But what is year of our Lord? Foul year of our Lord, like foul, like this year sucks. It's a very, people ask me that. I've actually gotten that question before. People are like, are you Christian because you say that a lot? I'm like, no, I'm actually not. But it's actually a reference to Hunter S. Thompson and the film Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, but not necessarily the film Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, just more the writings of Hunter S. Thompson. Mr. Hut QC, good to see you, man. What do you mean? What's going on with Lino Coin? Crypto Rick says, Justin, is there a good trade risk calculator you could recommend? Not one that I know that's public facing. For this very reason, this is why we developed the not only the position size calculator, but the advanced position size calculator, our iterations of the 2 different strategies of Kellybet position size calculators, as well as the advanced trading journal and the advanced trading journal now version 2, which we provide to our premium members. So I'm not aware of a very good public facing one. I mean, if you know your rules, then you should be able to make something in like Google spreadsheet or something like that. Yeah. If Bitcoin falls to the downside, how much downside would I expect? What about the Bitcoin halvening coming up? The Bitcoin halvening is supposed to be, and has been, a fundamentally bullish event. But the problem with that is that we are, assumptions work really, really good until they don't. And that's why I think it's a better approach to not assume anything about the market. Now, I can't help but state the truth is that I do have a bullish bias when I subjectively look at the charts, and when I think about the halvening coming up, and when I think about adoption, when I look at everything that's going on, when I read the news, when I study, what other traders are doing, whether it's good or bad. So, for that reason, I am looking for, in the long term, opportunities to continue to take price to the upside. But, the other thing that I kind of pointed out and talked about at length, yesterday was, if we go and look at, I wonder if I did it on this chart. I don't think I did it on this chart. But I pointed out this range, essentially between, let's call it, 7,000, the about 7,000 and around 9,000. And that's a very wide range. But we can see that over the past, ever since the peak of the bull market, this is an area where price hung out a long time on the way down from its high, which was price overheated. And it's an area where price has hung out now a long time since rallying off the lows in early 2019. And that suggests to me, which I think is actually quite reasonable, if you look at other factors like the Meyer multiple, and if you look at other kind of fundamental charts about Bitcoin, I would argue that this range right here, and again, it's a wide range because Bitcoin is highly volatile and an emerging asset class that is yet to go through the process of a very long period of price discovery. In 100 years, Bitcoin won't be this volatile, but Bitcoin will still be around in 100 years. So anyways, my thesis is that this range is actually the fair market value of Bitcoin, because that's the range that we've hung out in it for a very long time. That's the range that individuals feel comfortable buying Bitcoin at. And there's a lot of or selling Bitcoin at, because there's a lot of disagreement. The reason markets range is because there's a lot of disagreement between buyers and sellers on what the fair market value is. And you don't have a strong side of the argument in control of the market. Obviously, when things are quite bullish, buyers are in full control. When things are quite bearish, sellers are in clear and pronounced control. And so when you look at significant periods of chop, that means that all the speculators and investors are in a fairly tight band of agreement that in or around this area, this is a fair market value. Now, it oscillates based on the needs of the market, based on the needs of individual investors, because you have, millions of individuals that are participating in this market every single day, and it is a large battle. It's a battle of the order book. It's not a battle of words. It's not a battle of emotions. It's a battle of the order book. Because it's one of those few things that is objective. Either you buy or you sell. When you take action in the marketplace, you affect the marketplace, and you are part of this democratic process of determining what the current price is. Everybody that participates in the market is actively involved in contributing their vote, essentially, to what the actual price is by influencing the order book. And doesn't have anything to do with how you believe, doesn't have anything to do with how you feel, doesn't have anything to do with where you're from. It's objective. Once you execute an order in the order book, you've essentially voted, right? Either you sold, meaning that you think, this is a good price to sell at, and that price is likely going to go down, or you've bought, meaning that you think this is a fair price for Bitcoin, and that you think that it's going to go up. And it's really interesting, when you analyze the market in that way and look at the philosophy and the underlying philosophy of market participants. Thank you so much, Eric Wilson, over there on DLive. Highly appreciated, my friend. Agency did not get filled all the way on XTZ. Oh, my dear Lord. Let's go to what's Tezos up to? I believe yesterday we talked about this. We talked about this support level right here. We talked about this order block that price was coming back to and looking for a potential bounce play off of that. Now, the bounce play is not confirmed, so looking for an actual reversal continuation signal, that actually hasn't come yet. But again, the order block bounce trade, I would say, has played out pretty well. Let's see, our price rallied about 15%. So that was a pretty gosh darn diddly good trade, guys. Congratulations to anybody who took that. Let's see here. 12 cents was the ATR, so any fill in this range. Yeah, you would have gotten easily filled on your sell order. Easily filled on your sell order. Now, waiting for that confirmation, for that continuation right here in the form of Minx. Again, very similar to Fisher, bottoming above zero, which hasn't occurred yet. But definitely a good reversal baseline bounce. Again, generally in this situation, got a very nice reaction. Make sure to lock in some profit. You can let it ride. You can set your stop loss to break even. Or if you missed the entry point, you can still scatter bids down there and wait for a retest of that area. But overall, looking for that continuation trade on the daily time frame there. Lee, thank you so much, man. Satoshi Nakafomo has 2 ByBit accounts ready. Got my long and my short. We're good. Cryptonomics says, I don't think Bitcoin has had enough adoption for price discovery yet. In a vacuum, I would agree, but due to the alts, scams, and trading, alts to BTC to gain value, I think the price is very volatile. More adoption to come and more needs. Well, I absolutely agree with you. You know, I do agree with you. But again, I don't think, like, price discovery is happening all the time. It's not something that happens like when there's no scams. You know, look at traditional assets. There's scams all the time. There's pump and dumps. There's there's penny stocks, which is, I mean, that's the low sat market. Penny stocks is the low sat market. I mean, you have fraud, you have investigations, you have the SEC, plus you have all the political factors and international and global factors that are influencing trade in the markets as well. Price discovery began as soon as Bitcoin launched. You know, that is literally why price ranges around. Of course, you have speculators as well. Speculators are part of that democratic process of price discovery. You know, it doesn't matter what your intentions are. It doesn't matter really anything that's happening, any externalities. You know, price discovery. So for example, like, you know, the world could be absolutely on fire, and if individuals are still actively trading or still actively buying and selling an asset, they're engaged in price discovery. And I think that there's a very good reason why on the way down, Bitcoin hung out in this $3,000 range. And on the way up, Bitcoin hung out in this $3,000 range. And Bitcoin is now again hanging out in that $3,000 range. Because on a larger scale, this range, people are pretty comfortable with Bitcoin being around here, which I think is really, really good. My point here is, like, I think that is extremely a positive sign. That from something that launched as worth less than a penny, and in 10 years has been the best performing asset of all time, all over the last 10 years. It is now marked fairly between $6,000 and $9,000. That's absolutely incredible. That's absolutely incredible. That means that's a 30% drawdown, right? So that means that effectively, if you view Bitcoin as the store of narrative, with the store of value narrative, that means that your assets might potentially, especially over the next few years, and if this range remains, it might change, but that potentially your max drawdown might potentially be 30%. Now, the actual number is going to be larger than that because percentages are larger to the downside. But again, that's a pretty good variance range, especially if you feel that the global stock market is going to take a massive hit. If you feel that the global real estate market is going to take a massive hit. I mean, if you really are a doom and gloomer and you feel that the stock market's going to tumble 70, 80, 90%, and you're looking at Bitcoin and you're like, wow, there's a 30% range in price there. How do I like the new Google phone? Do I have Project Fi for it? No, I don't have Google Fi. I actually really, really love it. I'm not going to lie. It took a while to get used to the interface, but I'm actually getting quite used to it now. I think it's a fantastic phone. It's the best phone I've ever owned. I mean, if only for the camera. I mean, I take a lot of pictures. I shoot a lot of video, obviously, and I can just whip this out and feel like I have a HD camera in my hand. It's fantastic. Jules Latenya, why does Crown shout and scream like X? Oh, that's so stupid what he does. What do I think? I mean, I have nothing against Crown. I think he's pretty excited. I've only watched a couple of his streams, but he's pretty entertaining to watch. I guess I could see how that would be distasteful to somebody who's a pretty serious person. But at the same time, I mean, there's a lot of people who find that like very exciting and motivating and you know, yeah. Got nothing negative to say about the gentleman. He's you know, if there's a wide basket of individuals who are broadcasting their streams or trying to do trading education online, I mean, he's definitely not down in the bottoms where most individuals are. Interview Ben from ByBit. Thoughts? Yeah, I would. I'd absolutely love to do that, and I could probably pull that off if I just reached out to them. All right, let's go. Come on, Bitcoin. Up, 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 up. Sometimes it listens to me. Let's go down and look at the 12-hour time frame. You know, I'm not gonna lie. The 12-hour EMA over the last about 4 or 5 days, pretty choppy, pretty choppy. We talked about taking the, we talked about that short setup that we got, and immediately on the next candle got a reversal, and that held for a few days. 12-hour, the previous 12-hour candle again, another reversal and a doji candle. So a lot of inconsistency, a lot of inconsistency. Or not inconsistency, but again, just quite a bit of chop, which is unfortunate. But we have to look back at all the beautiful trends that we've been able to ride, all the beautiful trends that we've been able to take, and then we just run into this area of the market, and it's like, yeah, just slam your head on the desk, you know. And it's not even like that, guys. It's not even slam your head on the desk. I know that it can feel that way sometimes, but I mean, this is part of the market cycle. This is part of the market cycle. And the point is that your risk management system needs to be the one that's doing a lot of the legwork here. Your volatility filter needs to be the one that's doing a lot of the legwork here, right? So you need to have, and this is where a lot of people mess up when they design a system. So somebody's going to, when people are like in a vacuum, like without, you know, we provide a lot of guidance and support because that's what we do. We build systems. But a lot of people who try their hand at building systems kind of in a vacuum will just look at the chart and they're like, I want to catch every trend, right? And that's what they focus on. They look at the big gains. They look at capturing the big movements, which I get it. They're absolutely justified. But they don't optimize their strategy to keep them out of the market where they're going to get chopped up. And then generally they don't apply a very systemic or strategic risk management system, a position sizing system. So the way that we trade, yes, we're going to get caught in the chop a few times. Far less so than most traders because our systems are optimized to avoid chop. But again, nothing's perfect. So again, we've just like honestly, it's been a little bit over the last like month or two, month and a half. It's been pretty choppy. I'm not going to lie. But we've been returning double digits on our trading almost every single month this year. And again, last month was our worst month of the year. And it was a break-even month. That's absolutely fantastic. You cannot ask for more. So people are going to optimize their systems to give them gains, and that's not where you start. That's not where you start. You optimize to avoid losses. You set out with the goal to break even as a trader. If you set out with the goal to make big gains, you won't. You will not. If you set out with the goal to not lose money, and you can attain that, you're already doing better than 90% of other traders out there. Because again, most traders are just losing money consistently over and over again, over the long run of time, over a long series of trades, over the years. You know, they can have a great week or a great month or a great day or a great session or whatever. But most traders, because they are trading subjectively, if you scale them out long enough, they're not making money. They're losing money actively. And again, you know, when one of the things that I really like is when I test out a lot of people's PTP strategies, the people that do it right. Even if I look at a lot of strategies that are like 40% hit rate or 50% hit rate, that's okay. That's absolutely fine. You know, that's pretty common for a trend following strategy. But the reality is that when I look at the P&L and I see, wow, thanks to early exits, thanks to position sizing, when they actually do take a loss, even if there's more losses than wins, they don't lose very much. Like they have small losses. And then they have consistent wins when they do take price, when the trade does go in their favor. And that's exactly what you want to build. It's exactly what you need to build. Something that gives you consistent returns and allows you to do this day in and day out on a professional capacity. Again, whether you're doing it full time actively or whether you have a side hustle. Anthony Liang, 25. Thank you so much for the $2, my good friend. He says, VeChain is insane. VeChain in the membrane. Let's go take a look at Mr. Vet. I actually have VeChain socks on today. You don't believe me? Bam! Look at those bad babies right there. V-chain socks. Jack, I told you I'd show off those boots. All right. Where are we at? On the daily. VeChain continuing to run to the races. This is exactly what we talked about yesterday. When I was asked to look at NEO and I was asked to look at VeChain, I think the question was, do you see VeChain turning around anytime soon? And the answer was no. I mean, we have quite a distance from the next significant level of supply. Now, clearly and objectively, I want to point out the other thing that I said. I was like, I don't have the 100% conviction in this because, again, we've gotten, let's see exactly where we were sitting yesterday. Let's see. Yeah, we had a continuation signal right here. One little Harami candle, and then boom, nice big old explosion to the upside. So just beautiful, massive rally in VeChain. People are really pushing this to the races, man. Up 135% since the beginning of this rally. So beautiful movement, beautiful trade, beautiful movement. And as we sit right now, about 14% more to go to the upside. That means that if you've captured a good gain on VeChain, again, I'll just continue to say it, this is where you typically want to start scaling out of your position. You get greedy and you're like, okay, cool. Justin said there's only 15% more to the upside. That means I'm just going to keep taking price to the upside. Well, listen, man, the best laid plans of mice and men. Anywhere, like any gain around here is something that's good to capture. The altcoin gains are beautiful. The altcoin gains are beautiful, but don't let them turn into something that's not beautiful. Especially after a big old massive candle like that. That's a profit-taking candle, sir. Now, you don't have to exit your position entirely. Trailing stops, chandelier stops, set your stop loss at break even. You can scale that up to TP1, TP2, however you guys want to do it. But don't be a sucker, man. Thank you so much, Salarm KD. Says I follow your show every day, and I must say I learned a lot from you. Thumbs up and just keep it rolling. Thank you, man. Can I please tell my thoughts on Chainlink run today? Thank you, Lefty. I highly appreciate that. I believe we talked about the exact same thing with Chainlink, right? And we talked about this signal right here. I want to remain true to my former self. Was that really a week ago when we talked about this? I feel like this is the candle where I was last asked about Chainlink. I feel like it was. And I was pretty cautious at this point in time. We did get that break above and the long signal actually on the very next candle. We got a pullback and a retest of that breakout zone, and boom, price took off to the upside. But there was the PTP signal right there. That was the long signal right there. Do I have any thoughts? No, I mean, Bitcoin's boring, so altcoins are, we talked about this like, what, 2 days ago? Altcoin staged for a liftoff? That was the title of the show. What do I think Bitcoin will be around in 100 years? I don't think that's likely, to be honest, because technology is moving exponentially and likely something else will emerge on top by then. So I guess my theory is based on this. Like, Bitcoin is a new asset class. It's a completely new asset class. And stocks have been around for a very, very, very long time. And technology has not destroyed stocks. Banks have been around for a very long time, and technology has not destroyed banks. You know, governments have been around for a very long time, and technology has not destroyed governments. If anything, they've made them, you know, leaner, cleaner, and meaner. And Bitcoin is a new asset class, and it is the first asset class based on the concept of being digital, unconfiscatable, and finite in supply. And yes, I think that, I'll be honest with you, man, the realms that we're moving into, all the singularities that we have on the horizon with, you know, things like robotics, artificial intelligence, nanotechnology, the medical field, stem cell research, all of these things, you know, all of these things are going to dramatically change the way that we live life. But Bitcoin is based on a philosophical concept. You know, it's technological and it's digital, but it's based on a concept of technology allowing us to have something as a society which we've never had before, which is something that is unconfiscatable and secure. And I think that, is it possible that it's Bitcoin but slightly different than Bitcoin? Yes, but I think it's more likely that Bitcoin evolves as technology improves. Just like we've seen everything else change or evolve as things improve. Now, some things fall by the wayside because they become outdated for society. I don't know, though, without, you know, it would take, I think we're a very, 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 very long ways away in our societal evolution, more than 100 years, where we're not going to need something like Bitcoin, where we're going to just be able to function as a society without fear of government totalitarianism, without fear of authoritarianism, without fear of manipulation of the democratic process, without fear of financial confiscation. Yeah. Mr. Ether says, missed my long-term hold entry on VeChain and now hoping for a huge FU candle. You know, that, you know, I'll just be real with you. You might be, I understand the sentiment, man. I mean, that is a very common sentiment. Like, people see any asset run up and then they're like, okay, cool. As soon as it takes a massive dump, I'm going to buy. But generally, like, that's not a good idea, because generally once that, I mean, just look into your heart and ask yourself how many times that's worked out for you. Generally, things move into an accumulation cycle and then explode, and then they sell off, and they sell off for a long, long time, man, you know? Bull market over, Moonshine Fuel says, back to 3K. Well, you heard it there, folks. The bull market's over, man. You know, and with, sorry guys, it's been a while, but with all this kind of indecision in the market, with all these altcoins popping, with Bitcoin just killing us all, I think that it is high time that we go over to junior analyst Midwest Attempts for today's Bitcoin weather report. Midwest, what do you got for us today?
Mm-hmm. No, that's what I told him. I told him that. Yeah, we're going to push it up about 12.2 and then let everyone know that we're feeling bearish about it. And then let's pump that shit up to 14. You know what I mean? No. Yes. No. Yeah. Oh, hold on. Yeah, things are looking super bearish, man. Super bearish. Get your shorts on. Yeah, they're a bunch of idiots. No. Yes. All right. I love you. And back to you, Justin.
Oh, there you have it, folks. Midwest, you dog, you. Do I think there will be another alt season like before, or will people move into stablecoins? I think there is a high possibility that that's what we're seeing right now is alt season. Always good times around the Kraken cryptocurrency office, guys. What do I think the repercussions for price will be when Americans have nowhere to trade on margin outside of a handful of very low leveraged exchanges? That's interesting. Don't know why that message got deleted, but I don't know, man. You know, Bitcoin is a pretty global asset, and we do have some well-capitalized, have a ton of well-capitalized countries that are actively trading it. Honestly, countries with a little bit more favorable approach with more clear regulation. I'll be quite honest with you. It's yet to be seen exactly how this is going to play out. We'll talk about this a little bit later in the news segment, but the reality is that, America has taken a frustrating approach to cryptocurrency by not providing us clear legislation and regulation. But on the same hand, all they've asked for so far is their 5 pounds of flesh, their taxes. And if we look at all the other countries that were quick out of the gate with cryptocurrency regulation, well-defined ideas, giving the crypto coin companies or giving the crypto companies like clear regulation of how to operate in the space, defining smart contracts, defining digital tokens, defining token sales, defining what is and what is not a security. A lot of other countries have already done this and have done this for a while. And now what we're seeing is that a lot of those countries move directly from that. As soon as they define that legal framework, they moved right into confiscation or developing their own alternatives or developing punitive measures. So I would argue that my hope is that America does the better thing here and stays true to its roots of liberty and freedom with cryptocurrency regulation. Is that likely? Maybe not. But again, that's more from a perspective of unconfiscatable funds and store value. As far as price appreciation, it really depends on what school of thought you ascribe to, because there are several theories on this. Honestly, you have the China narrative, which is that, hey man, it's South Korea and China that are doing all this buying and push the price around and are the whales that are manipulating price. So you got that theory. As far as I'm aware, as far as I've seen, a lot of the larger American institutions that are involved in Bitcoin are either high frequency trading, which means they don't care about which direction price is going. They just want price to move because they're trading OTC. And a lot of these OTC desks, provide, it's not, Bitcoin is not HTB. It's not hard to borrow. So you can get it to short sell. It's not a problem. Just look at Genesis, or look at any of these other companies that do OTC desks. They clearly actively talk about their clients. Or you have individuals that are buying and holding. So I don't think that that it would be easy to develop a clear correlation, because you can still get a lot of damage on low leveraged exchanges. Margin just magnifies the effect. Yes, Bob the Builder, you do. What about liberty and freedom in the sense of no tax on crypto to crypto transactions? I think that makes a whole lot of sense. The only reason why, from the government's perspective, why it would not make sense is because of that ability for volatility there, right? Caprica asks, are your interview videos from San Francisco going ready to view soon? We're going to be putting them out about, I would really like the schedule to be a little bit faster on them. But, honestly, we shot a lot of video from a lot of different camera angles, and it requires a lot of editing. It's really good professional work that the guys are doing. So the first video will actually be coming out this weekend. We actually have 3 videos slated for release this weekend. So actually, I forgot about that, because not only do we have the ByBit video coming out, part 1 of the ByBit series that we'll have coming out over the next few weeks, we've got my video, which is about keeping your Bitcoins privately secured in a way that many of you may not be familiar with. And then we also are going to have the interview with Particle coming out this weekend. So yes. You mean drugs 1 million to government's 0, right? They waste $1 billion on the war on drugs, yet we can still attain anything that is banned very easily. I mean, yeah, I've been an active and vocal proponent against the war on drugs for my entire life. I am absolutely libertarian on this issue. I feel that it's not even, so not only the fact that pragmatically, it just hasn't worked. The war on drugs has been absolutely non-effective. It just doesn't work. Prohibition didn't work for a reason. But morally, it is absolutely immoral and unjustifiable that you have the audacity to believe that you can regulate what an individual can and cannot ingest into their body, as long as it's not hurting anybody. Laws against damages are already on the books. So people are like, oh, if somebody gets drunk and somebody gets high and beats somebody up. Yeah, assault's illegal. Okay, assault is illegal. The only thing you do by legalizing or criminalizing the drugs is that you require individuals who want to use drugs. And again, I don't use substances. I don't really like people who do. But I think that if you want to shoot heroin in your living room, that's on you, man. If you want to snort cocaine in the bathroom, that's on you, dude. I have no right to tell you not to. Because if you get out of pocket and hit me, that's assault, and that's already illegal. If you steal something, that's already illegal. Criminalizing things forces individuals who want to ingest in substances recreationally criminals, right? Like in California, people who smoke pot are not criminals anymore. Doesn't mean they're the most productive citizens, but they're not criminals anymore. I mean, then you can combine the hypocrisy of the opioid epidemic and the government's, casual acceptance of that. I mean, they're well aware of what's going on. They're blatantly being paid off by the pharmaceutical industries. But that is how our modern democracy works, thank God. And it takes personal accountability, personal responsibility, and personal advocacy to solve the problem that America is facing right now. So the moral issue, the pragmatic issue. DeFi stands for decentralized finance. So essentially, access to loans, providing loans, access to interest, all housed, decentralized on the blockchain. So the ability to get loans with, no requirement for identity, no requirement for anything except for your proof of funds. Now, Ethereum has really spearheaded this, obviously, with MakerDAO, with Ray, with come on, brain, work. Several other projects that are pretty integral to this, and it relies on the concept of over collateralized loans. So essentially, you can deposit funds and receive a portion of that back as a loan, and then you can utilize that loan to do things like make loans and earn interest. Meanwhile, your deposit is secure on the blockchain, and the whole system works. It's a $700 million economy that Ethereum has going on that works. And some would argue that it's a house of cards, but one cannot deny that it's revolutionary, and it's a pretty cool concept. No more buyers at $8,000 prices. It says, please, can you tell us about zero more buyers at Bitcoin at this moment? No new retailers and new players, and the people what are in the crypto don't want to buy BTC per 8K anymore. Okay. Let's just go to the chart. All right, let's just see here. Well, people bought here and 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 here, actually. Wow, look at that, man. There's a lot of buying going on. Look at price going up, you know? It's going up here, and it's going up here, and it's going up here, and hell, it even went up over here. Sorry, I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just saying, you know, the reality is all of this stuff comes out all of this stuff comes out, man, especially in Bitcoin, when price rallies and then it dumps and it might enter into a little bit of a bearish trend or a choppy market. You know, everybody comes out of the woodworks and they start talking about how fantastic all these other projects are, how they're going to overtake Bitcoin, how, you know, Bitcoin's dead. Nobody wants to buy Bitcoin anymore. And I think that is very, very naive. And the reality is that speculators can move, you know, I don't want to say speculators, but the market moves up and the market moves down. I mean, it's almost like, let's go to, this is just BTC USD. Let's go to BTC USD on Bitstamp. But let's look at the reality that Bitcoin has had multiple plus 80 to 90% corrections before, and then turned around and rallied over 100%. Multiple times over its 10-year inception. And now I would argue that we found a fairly good fair market range. All right, guys, we're going to take a brief commercial break. When we return, the news, the charts, all the crypto that you can stomach, that you can handle, and more. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back, guys. This is Jason. When he first learned about Bitcoin margin trading on BitMEX.
Why? Why? Give it back! Give it back! Oh, give it back!
This is Jason 6 months later after signing up for ByBit with the Cracking Cryptocurrency referral link found in the description below. Don't make the same mistake as Jason. Sign up today at bybit.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Welcome back, everybody. I just want to give a huge thank you to all the fans over there on DLive. Thank you guys so much. I'm probably going to mispronounce this, but I'm assuming it's pronounced Poi. Poikos, thank you so much for the follow today. GBU Wally throwing down the Ninja Guinea, man. Roll out like you fold out, my friend. Thank you so much, my good friend. I'm actually going to throw another 50 lemons in the chest, and we'll be distributing these very soon. Thank you so much, my good friend. Highly appreciated. The man, the myth, the legend. Saintsy and AutoWorks, thank you so much for the lemons, my good friend. And AutoWorks, thanks so much for that follow over there as well, my good friend. Let me check in here real quick with he says, Ninja Guineas, Mississippi Grog, and Carolina Christmas Blend. You cannot beat that. Brett, thank you so much for the recommendation. It is the most glorious cup of coffee. Interesting note. So I did not go to the store last night, and I was out of organic pasture, organic grass-fed butter, which I drink buttered coffee every morning as my breakfast. I love it. I've been doing it for a long time. I have my buttered coffee in the morning, and I'm good until 3 or 4, 5 in the evening when I generally eat dinner. Sometimes I'll have a snack right after the show, but like a salad or something, or a piece of meat. And then at dinner, I try to do a lot of healthy fats. I try to do some dark greens, and I try to do a big old chunk of meat. All right, that's the goal. That's optimum life skill right there. But I had to use ghee this morning. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with ghee, it's clarified butter. Don't need to refrigerate it. It's paleo friendly. And I'm not going to lie. I don't like it. It doesn't taste good. Buttered coffee tastes really good. Ghee coffee? Ghee coffee? Is that buttered ghee? Ghee coffee? Tastes like tarmac. But, you know, sacrifices must be made. Definitely going to check out that that Amish pasture-fed butter that you recommended, my friend. Thank you so much. RCG Kraken, how are you, bro? Let's see here. What is an anti-liquidation position? I'm geed up. What's my usual coffee? It's called Verona Street is the brand. You can get it at Walmart. And check out Mississippi Grog. It is awesome. Awesome. And I think the company is called Alpine. Brett can clarify me on this, but I ordered it offline or online based on his recommendation. It's called Carolina Christmas Blend. It is also fantastic. It is also fantastic. Did I see the ByBit interview with Ivan on Tech? Yeah, I actually did watch that. Yeah, I thought it was a really good interview. The ByBit teams, they're good people, man. They're good people. That's why I trade at ByBit. That's why I like their customer service. I mean, that was the main thing that drew me over there, was the fact that I've actually seen them actually do the right thing in multiple occasions. You know, they're a relatively new exchange. They've had their technical issues, not very many to be quite honest with you, just as all exchanges do. They didn't crash when Deribit crashed, and everybody was like, "Oh, Deribit's like so awesome." And I have nothing against Deribit. Again, I think that the hate leveled at them for the decision that they made recently was unjustified. To be quite honest, I talked about that the other day. But I have watched over and over and over again ByBit's customer service do good things, and that matters. That really matters in this space. Oh, whole bean, man, whole bean. Whole bean all the way, man. That's my morning routine. I wake up, get that grinder out. You know what I mean? It's probably very much like a junkie with his rig, you know. But I get my grinder, I get my beans, I grind them. You know, I do my French press. It's a routine, man. It's a nice good system. Guatemalan coffee. Your local coffee shop has girls working in bikinis. Well, you're a lucky man, because generally you have to pay for such a thing. Psychosomatic hallucinations. Normally you have to pay for such a thing. Okay, guys. I drink whatever they got. No, I'm saying. All right, let's we got a lot to talk about today. So, first story of the day. We're going to be talking about Google. Okay, good. It didn't activate. Nothing activated. All right, sweet. This comes from bncrypto.com, and this article is about Google entering the digital finance arena and introducing a cache payment platform. It's actually pronounced cash, but cache. You guys don't think we're talking about cash, like the stuff that allows you to avoid the government spying. Moving right along. And according to a story released yesterday by the Wall Street Journal, it has been revealed that Google is now partnering up with financial institutions Citigroup and Stanford Federal Credit Union. And this is in order to bring checking accounts directly to their Google Play service. Now, the new project is codenamed Cache or Cash. And it builds on their existing financing platform, Google Pay, which obviously, if you guys are familiar with Google Pay, stores and manages your credit, debit, loyalty, and other payment cards, and facilitates in-app and online payments using the individual user's saved information. So with this latest move, Google aims to offer checking account services directly to its users. So rather than merely linking your traditional bank accounts to the app, you will effectively be banking with Google. This would mean that Google is the latest tech giant to throw its hat into the ring of digital finance after Apple, Amazon, and of course, Facebook. Now, while this might seem to only be an incremental step in terms of financial services in the mobile area, this could be an early sign of the decline of the traditional banking format, which provides physical bank locations and ATMs, and the beginning of a large consumer shift due to the incumbent, not the incumbent, but the incoming generation, the incoming dominant generation, as the millennials take over from the boomers, and their obsession with mobile devices, a shift toward accepting or preferring that their basic financial services strictly exist online or on a mobile app, not really caring one way or the other about financial services. For example, Wealthfront. I do a lot of that. I have the mobile app for Wealthfront on my phone, and that's where I keep a large majority of my cash. Now, while Apple offers credit cards already and Facebook is designing an entire currency, Google's approach with Project Cash amounts to facilitating basic banking services via their partners' existing banking operations. Now, for Google, this effectively resolves many of the regulatory hurdles associated with bringing a new financial product to market, as partners like Citigroup Incorporated are obviously already licensed with the necessary banking infrastructure to do so. This is actually pretty clever of Google, the way that they're going about doing this. They're just sliding right on in there. Now, according to Google itself, quote, their approach is going to be to partner deeply with banks and the current financial system. It may be the slightly longer path, but it's more sustainable, end quote. Now, this recent concern, obviously, from regulators and politicians about user data and business practices of the tech giants means as these companies begin to cross over into the world of finance, they are seeing significant pushbacks in their attempts to innovate in the banking sector. Facebook's Libra project in particular is one example of how, despite assuring the public and governments that customer financial data will be kept secure and not be used for advertising, condemnation has been swift, rapid with the pitchforks, rapid with the tomatoes to throw where the project's viability is in question. Now, while Google obviously faces similar privacy concerns as well, the company has affirmed it does not currently use Google Pay data for advertising purposes and will not be selling users checking account information via cash. We've heard that one before. With a soft approach of partnering with existing financial institutions to bridge, their Google Pay services to mainstream banking, Google avoids a lot of the pitfalls that are in direct competition with commercial banking and triggering regulators. Now, whether or not a large majority of consumers will actually accept Google's innovation to keep financial data private and would be more comfortable banking directly with Google rather than just going through their traditional banking financial institution remains yet to be seen. But I would assume that there's going to be a wave of people that sign up for this and more to follow. This is just following the trends of our society. And the stats seem to agree with me. According to a recent poll by McKinsey & Company, 58% of individuals that were surveyed said that they would trust a financial product from Google. And this puts the company ahead of both Apple and Facebook, but still behind Amazon. Now, to further complicate matters, these massive companies, with them having to tiptoe through regulation and other concerns while attempting to innovate in the digital finance sector, we have to realize that cryptocurrencies and decentralized finance, DeFi, are already being developed as well and already operating, albeit on a relatively smaller scale. And the goal obviously in that arena is to be the new checking accounts, is to be the new saving accounts, is to be the new investment vehicles, and even loans in the case of DeFi. So the question is, will consumers in the massive scale, as cryptocurrency grows in awareness, as cryptocurrency grows in adoption, as DeFi becomes more systemic, as DeFi becomes more widespread, will individuals prefer to trust the big name brands like Google or the big name brands like Bitcoin, is where the question remains to be seen. Now, the existence of digital assets like Libra and XRP, and yes, I said digital asset, not cryptocurrency, for a reason, built on similar technology but decidedly centralized, only further muddies the water. Now, it is possible that in time, Google will itself adopt one or more digital assets as a payment option. But for now, the company is only looking to partner with banks and more banks. Still, depending on how the public responds in the coming years, anything is possible. So what do you guys think? Do you guys trust this? Obviously knowing my viewership, I'm sure the result will be the answer will be an overwhelming no, but do you guys trust the financial product, or would you guys trust the Google financial product? Would you guys rather open up your checking and savings account through Google, or would you rather go down to your local brick and mortar store? Be kind of interested to hear your thoughts. Make sure to leave them in the comment section down below after the show, or throw them in the live chat. Let's have a conversation. Big Saintsy has Alexa and a dog named Dexter. Bloody nightmare. Has anyone ever asked about your thoughts on Richard Hart? I have been asked about my thoughts on Richard Hart. Just the other day, somebody asked me if I knew a whole lot about Hexcoin, and to be quite honest, I don't. I've watched the videos about it. I don't think it's overly fantastic. Might pump. I don't know. And again, I don't want to do a disservice to anybody. My thoughts on Richard Hart. So I haven't done the deepest dive on this individual. I've done some research, and what I've seen is ostensibly negative. He doesn't seem to bring a lot of technical mastery or financial knowledge or market awareness to the space. He's more of a personality, right? His ideas are not about, he talks about science, technology, and things like this, but it doesn't come off like necessarily an expert. But he comes off like somebody who is pretty vocal, who is pretty controversial, who is opinionated. And, you just have all these kind of internet personalities and YouTube and Twitter personalities. And I think that's fine. I can't point to a smoking gun, positive or negative. So, honestly, I have a fairly neutral opinion of him. His heart could be in the right place. He could be doing things for the right reason. But again, I kind of reserve judgment. It's not really in my wheelhouse of opinions or thoughts. Could I say OKG really loud into the mic, for science? I've done that many, many times. And for the sake of everybody's sanity, I will refrain for today. Could I just say, buy NEO really loud into the mic, for all of humanity? When Google coin? Yeah. Probably. I wouldn't doubt it. I've often wondered why we can get cash from any ATM, but we cannot deposit into any ATM. I don't know where you're from, man. And around here, we can deposit money into an ATM. Would rather trust Google than Facebook. If they are guaranteeing 10% interest, sign me up, baby. AC/DC would choose Google Finance over Facebook Coin if I have to. Daniel J says, Hex is BitConnect 2.0. Bricks and mortar banks shutting by the bucket load here in the United States, and e-banks are failing as well. Not all of them, but definitely feel your point there, my friend. All right, so after that slightly maybe positive, maybe scary article, let's talk about something that is legitimately concerning, and this is Russia preparing a law to allow for cryptocurrency confiscation. And this is a NASDAQ article that I came across the other day. I referenced this the other day, and just getting around to talking about it today. Now, Russian law enforcement agencies and the Internal Affairs Ministry are developing proposals that would allow them to legally confiscate cryptocurrencies. Now, these proposals could become enforceable as early as 2021. And, this isn't like this isn't some one-off. This is a comprehensive plan to allow the government to seize crypto assets, and it's being developed in coordination with Russia's Federal Financial Monitoring Authority, the prosecutor's office, their investigative committee, and their justice ministry, with participation from the Supreme Court. Now, obviously, I don't have to tell you guys this, but decentralized cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin would be very difficult to actually physically seize, as assets that are held properly in cold storage or on private wallets cannot physically be seized without the cooperation of the private key owner. However, lax private key security and the authoritarian measures of a nation state on your back would lead many to submit to the government's haranguing. So, I want to touch on this more because Bitcoin was designed that, one of its main selling points is the reality that it is unconfiscatable with proper security. And physical seizure with proper storage of your private keys is physically impossible unless someone physically coerces you to reveal your private keys. Now, the common argument against this is the $5 argument. So why would a government, for example, spend billions upon billions of dollars developing a quantum computing system that can reverse the public key cryptography that secures Bitcoin private keys, when they can just send a man with a $5 hammer to bash you until you actually reveal your private keys? Because most people cannot, most people aren't going to get hit with a hammer and not be like, yeah, take my private keys. Now, the threat is that with a monopoly on the use of force, as nation states have, they possess the will and the ability to physically enforce this action. So if this law becomes reality, the legislation will have to deal with situations where individuals refuse to submit their private keys to law enforcement for confiscation. And I would assume this would have to entail jailing, fines, or other punitive measures that would incentivize citizens to cooperate and submit their cryptocurrency for confiscation if they found to be in violation of the law. Now, Russia prior to this has had a fairly favorable relationship with cryptocurrency. Putin himself met with Vitalik Buterin, which led to a wave of speculation that Russia was actually going to open up the floodgates for cryptocurrency adoption in their nation. They have the Digital Rights Act, which defines smart contracts and digital tokens in a legal sense. And this kind of leads to what I was talking about earlier, that unfortunately what we've seen here is a lot of nations that were quicker to define cryptocurrencies in a legal sense are moving very quickly after that to now we need to have measures for confiscation and for further taxation or punitive measures. So again, it's possible that people are looking at the lack of regulation coming from America in the wrong way, because as it sits right now, it's not too bad to be a cryptocurrency investor in the United States of America. Potentially might be bad to be a cryptocurrency investor in Russia if this legislation gets passed, which again, it could become law as early as 2021. Now, one takeaway that I want to say, which unfortunately I don't think that people are going to talk about too much, is that nation states that enforce regulation like this are likely to see an increase in citizen flight and further immigration into nations that are potentially more favorable to personal freedom or cryptocurrency investors in the first place as we continue to grow and achieve more adoption. So, not a particularly good thing. But again, we're going to talk about this. Let's go into the next story and we can kind of dovetail this as well. This is from our northern neighbors up there. Shout out to all of you guys in Canada. Hopefully the government still allows you to say hello. So hello. The Royal Bank of Canada is embracing cryptocurrency with a potential trading platform. Now, Canada's largest bank, the largest commercial bank in Canada, which is the Royal Bank of Canada, is considering deploying a cryptocurrency trading platform along with related crypto financial services. Now, this trading platform would allow users to be able to buy and sell digital assets, particularly leading cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ether. And in addition, payment services would actually give customers the ability to use their digital assets as traditional currencies for in-store or online purchases, meaning you no longer have to find a vendor that actually accepts direct Bitcoin. The Royal Bank of Canada is considering allowing basically a routing option where you go to the online store, and if you have digital assets in your account with the Royal Bank of Canada, they'll process the payment as cash. The vendor will get cash, your cryptocurrency will be taken, and all's right with the world. Now, while the RBC had actually restricted clients from purchasing cryptocurrency through its accounts back in 2018, this move clearly suggests that the bank is changing its stance on the digital asset revolution and now preparing to embrace the idea of customers purchasing and managing their cryptocurrency assets with a trusted financial institution. So if RBC delivers on its plan to break into the consumer crypto space, this would be the first traditional bank in Canada and likely among one of the first in the entire Western world to launch a cryptocurrency trading platform and have support for digital asset deposits. Now, over the past 3 years, the Royal Bank of Canada has filed several United States and Canadian patents related to digital assets, cryptographic proofs, as well as settlement systems. The bank has already experimented with blockchain technology when it settled payments between its Canadian and American offices in 2017, in addition to developing identity verification of its clients, technology to identify the verification of its clients as well. Now, based on the patent filings, it suggests that the bank is also pursuing services for tokenized assets, such as tokenized equities, tokenized bonds, or tokenized stocks. Patent filings also show the familiar concerns of exchange security, private key storage, regulation enforcement for anti-money laundering provisions, which show that traditional KYC AML are remaining very, very high on their priority list when they're developing their crypto division. Now, according to the RBC's own description of the new technology, this place would allow completely new marketplaces to form, wherein financial instruments, regardless of value or even physical objects, can be safely traded and quickly settled based on these new standards and protocols. Did you guys take that from Ethereum? Yeah, I think that's in the Ethereum white paper. Now, this story obviously leads credence to the CoinShares report that we covered yesterday, which predicted that the next decade is going to be one in which we see institutional adoption of cryptocurrency technology, as well as traditional finance entering into the cryptocurrency space, offering checking and savings accounts specifically tailored to cryptocurrency investors, payment processing services, and even things like insurance or investments. Now, with governments, central banks, and large corporations seemingly scrambling to develop their own digital currencies, and now even commercial banks looking to break into the space, this is again, I look at this stuff, and this is exactly why when people say Bitcoin's going to zero, I'm like, you guys clearly are uneducated. Do not read the news. All the signs, all the tea leaves point to this being the revolution that it was designed to be, and it's going in ways that weren't originally intended. And that begs the question, what side of this argument are you on? Because again, we have a lot of different people in this space. Things like this are absolutely fantastic for your regular Joe who's not a crypto head, who's not into the whole privacy unconfiscatable thing, who generally is okay with the way things are, who thinks that, again, they have their gripes, they have their concerns, but again, what else are you going to do, right? Hey, we're all in this together. Who just view Bitcoin as another asset to diversify their portfolio with, something to engage in, and something to offer them new opportunities. Again, tokenized assets, tokenized securities, all of these things make current existing financial systems and current marketplace structures just more efficient. They allow us to settle things with less risk. They reduce a lot of waste. They reduce a lot of largesse. And the question is, are we on the right side of history, allowing cryptocurrency to be co-opted by traditional finance? Is that just the way that it needs to be? Because decentralized cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin still retain their ability to be unconfiscatable when used in the appropriate way. So again, this is good for the average Joe because it means that cryptocurrency is becoming safer, more readily accessible. It allows them insurance. It offers them insurance. It offers them some level of protection. It is easy to access, easy to obtain. And it avoids a lot of the negative aspects that are associated with our space, being the Wild West of the financial world. Or are we on the right side of history, viewing things like Bitcoin as fundamentally revolutionary in nature? designed to dethrone the entire financial sector, even though we've gone over the arguments about how, previous technological innovations did not destroy financial institutions. They only made them leaner, meaner, and greener. So I'd be curious to know kind of what the sentiment of the audience is. Like, do you guys feel that this is the right side of history, where this is obviously I feel it's inevitable. Do you guys feel this is a good thing? Do you guys see good things coming from this? Or do you guys feel that this is waiting for the other shoe to drop inevitably, which it most likely will? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, Mr. Ether, because yeah, you're right. I can't deposit cash that's not my local branch's ATM either. Plus, there's another argument about quantum computer technology, is that there's so much more to be done with quantum computing than cracking crypto. Pun intended. I'm going to go grab my water, guys. Hold on one second. Sorry. Forgot that my mic was off. I've been talking for like 5 minutes, huh? So GBU Wally said, I think the Royal Bank thing is amazing for adoption because people like using Coinbase first and then their own wallet. People need to get in first and get safe second. I agree with that. I've seen, I've ushered a lot of people who have a Coinbase account into how to set up Armory, how to set up cold storage, how to get a ledger. America. And the Cracking Crypto World Tour is right now, baby, because we are live globally. My closed captioning is broke. Good to be back, guys. All right, let's get back over to Mr. Bitcoin. Ding. No short signal on the 2-hour yet after this one right here. Bam. Got a 4-hour crossover on Minx telling you to be out of your shorts. 12-hour is neutral. And we already talked about the daily ad nauseum. All right, so let's get into our requests. What do you guys got for me today? All right, we got Ken D, GBU Wally, GBTC and NEO. Somebody is asking for GXS earlier, I know. Anything else, guys? Time to open up that chest, Jack. Let's do it, guys. Keith, thanks so much for the follow over there on DLive, my friend. Let's do this chest, guys. I'm going to do it in 30 seconds. And here we go. Distributing rewards now. It's coming. Bing, bang, boom. Big Saintsy coming with 33.7 lemons. GBU Wally, Forza World, you go chill, and Lefty on fire. Congratulations, guys. Congratulations, guys. Thank you guys so much for the love. Drop hack. All right, Mr. GBTC. You know, again, GBTC is actually right now doing the exact same thing that Bitcoin's doing. Testing that monthly. Oh, is that the monthly low? No, it's not. Forming a new monthly low. No. That's the monthly low. Yeah. Yep. That's the monthly low. Yeah. Testing that monthly low, man. The very bottom of that little gap fill right there. That same little baby order block right there. Just that little baby order block. And again, as I've said before, I'm going to be consistent with this. This is an area where price either bounces or breaks. And the way that I've structured my trade is that if it breaks, I've got my stop market sell set to flip me into a short. You guys can see it right there. And I'm taking it down. Talked about those price targets before. Other than that, what do we got from the? But we're not. There's no short to be signaled on GBTC. Take a look at commodity channel index. It is above the zero line. If we take a look at Minx, it is also. I mean, it is below the zero line and below the noise line. So we can potentially get a signal here. 1, 2, 3. It's going to take a reset to get a signal now. It's going to take a reset to get a signal, and our volatility filter is keeping us largely out of the market right now. Addison short here. Addison long here. Let's go take a look at that NEO. Listen, I don't want to say I told you so, but I did tell you so. I did, just as I talked about yesterday, I did think it was a good time to sell NEO last night. I moved some NEO of mine over to Binance last night and did sell that, some of the NEO that I've been holding for a minute. I still have some left. I haven't sold, obviously, my entire stack or anything like that. But again, as I said, logical area to take some profit. 001534, 001572. That's the point of control. That's the current order block that we're dealing with right now. Got to get over that. Until then, this was a high volatility move up to a very visible level of demand, or excuse me, supply, a very visible level of supply. And that is a very good time to take some profit. Now, we'll see what kind of pullback we get here. We'll see if we can establish a higher low above the baseline. Let's look where our pullback zone is going to be. Pretty far down. What do our EMAs have to say? Pretty far down, man. I mean, you know, NEO just on a beautiful, massive run. Beautiful, massive run. Big leg up here, consolidation, big leg up and continuation. I mean, but looking at both the baseline and the EMA, this is pointing down to 001283 to 001193. So, and again, that's pretty much the range from the 13 exponential moving average down to the 21. Very similar where our Donshin's coming in right there around 1193. So that would be the reaccumulation zone currently that we're looking at right now between 1271 and 1193. We'll go ahead and draw that. Where's my drawing box? Where's the drawing tool? Just update that as we go. And this little death area right here, my friend. I don't like that TradingView changed this because I used to just be able to draw my boxes like that. But now I can't. I do like the other changes that TradingView has made over the last few days, or the last few weeks, I should say. Brett, you might have caught me, my brother. Can I add a club horn to my soundboard for when I open the chest? I actually don't have a soundboard. I mean, I do actually have a soundboard, but it's only a mixer. So We can do things like we do need to record those things. Let's see here. How's that? It's summer weather here in Bitcoin City, ladies and gentlemen. Get your shorts on. Get your shorts on. Public service announcement. So hopefully that worked the way it was supposed to. It's summer weather here in Bitcoin City, ladies and gentlemen. Get your shorts on. Get your shorts on. Public service announcement. Ventriloquism. I don't know if that sounded the way that it was supposed to. There it is. This one. Let's do this one. My bad. There, does that sound better? Let's try it again. It's summer weather here in Bitcoin City, ladies. Get your shorts on. Get your shorts on. I should say get your pants on because it's time to hibernate. It's cold out here in Bitcoin land. It's time to get your longs on. Long underwear, that is, because it's cold out here. Magical internet money, yeah. All right, enough of that. Back to the show. Now I just got to remember which ones those are. I wonder if I can label them. Let me go to the mixer. Or the sampler, excuse me. Can I label them? Well, I guess I could just do it like this. Powerful communicator. Yeah, I try, man. Okay, so anyways. Not a daily short signal, not a daily exit signal, actually, to be quite honest with you. Let's go down to the 12. Yeah, the 12 would have pulled us out on that last movement to the downside. Don't have a Heikinashi color flip either on the daily. So we actually don't have a full-fledged exit signal yet on NEO BTC. But, I mean, you just have to, I mean, again, when you have a level of clearly defined supply, and you've had a massive rally up to that level of supply, you need to begin thinking about taking profit. Again, very similar with VeChain. Very similar with VeChain. It has another 15% to the upside before it actually butts up into its resistance level. But it's up 100%. You got to take some profit. Holochain's a good example. That thing's up over 200% USD value. Time to consider taking some profit. Set those cells at 12 sats, ladies. So I would like to see, again, 1572, 1534. Need to see price clearly break this level. That would actually be surprising. I mean, you know, there's a rally and then there's like, this is ridiculous, you know? So we'll kind of see. I would be out of NEO unless we come down here, back into the buy zone for right now. And we'll update this as the buy zone develops over time, or until we break this level, or until we get a clear continuation signal. But I'd be, you know, you be hesitant taking a continuation signal, like a quick one, right? If it's a like if you get a continuation signal like tomorrow, I wouldn't like that. Somebody asked for GXS. I don't know if they're still around, but we'll look at GX chain. GXS is good, man. Let's take a gander here. Long signal right here on GXS. And nice, beautiful rally to the upside. Let's check this one out with the smooth settings. Still did it? Oh, my bad. There we go. Long signal at the same area and still edge in the trade. Let's take a look at our TPs. Here, my bad. TP1 has just been hit today, and you've got TP2 around the vicinity of 73.38 and 79.72. Any extenuating factors here? Not really. Order block. Order block and resistance zone right here, but I mean, this is a pretty clear penetration. You can see where it already was receiving rejection from the lower boundary of it right here, and then you closed inside of that territory right here. That's a violation of the order block. That's a long signal. You can see this as a bullish order block right here, turn into a bearish breaker, rejected here, rejected here, rejected here, and breakout. GXS looks actually pretty good. Golem's my Hail Mary play. I just feel it, you know? G&T, baby, for the win. Justin, what if 2017 was the last bull market? I mean, we just had a bull market, man. I mean, in any asset class, this is a bull market. Price going up 250% in 6 months is a bull market, man. We just had a huge bull market. So did we reach the previous high? No, but I mean, ebbs and flows are part of the natural marketplace, man. Especially since the trading world is trying to tame BTC with futures, and BACT is probably in reality going to inflate supply, despite their claims that they will be physically delivered contracts. I mean, I don't deny that supply inflation and fractional reserve lending is a natural part of most traditional financial institutions, but I think that so here's the thing, man. if Bitcoin becomes a stable currency, then we just won't trade it anymore, and we'll just hold it as a store of value, as it was, as I think it's intended to be. You know, there are other things that we can trade, guys. We're talking about trading Forex. We're gonna be trading stocks here pretty soon on this channel. Do I always input what the ATR says, or do I look for order blocks or support and resistance levels near the ATR levels? TP1 is absolutely always ATR1. It's always the first target for ATR1. Now, if there is a very visible area of supply or an area of demand, that can influence where I place further take profits. Typically, and you know, this isn't, you know, it just is what it is. You need to look and see if you get a reaction off of there, because they're typically areas where price rejects, or they either bounce or break, right? So the safer option is that they reject, but you can go back and look, okay, has this tested multiple times? You never bet on the breakout. You never bet the price is going to break out. You want to be prepared for when it does. And sometimes that means you need to reposition your trade. But TP1's always ATR1. The times when I use Quadriga at just everything that it prints out almost the grand majority of the time. It's actually very rare that I'll modify a limit entry for a take profit based on where a level is. That generally will influence whether or not I take a trade in the first place, or what I'm watching for continuation. All right, so I got a quick request for Ethereum before we sign off. I did cover Ethereum at the beginning of the show, but we will go take a look. Are we going to 158? I don't think so. I think we are still ranging. Overhead resistance 193.20, 191.75. We're coming down to that. Again, we talked about the buy zone being between 184.60 and 177.85. And that's pretty much it. We are in a weakened order block, but this thing's been so heavily traded in, it's not even really a zone anymore between 185.15 and 183.45. The setup that I posted last night, or my idea that I had last night, was not even an idea, but again, just a setup off another system that I've run, is setting limit sell entries at 190 to 191.50 to get filled there and take price down again to support. Being fairly conservative with my take profits, take profit here, take profit here. What, you know, it didn't get filled on that entry. Obviously, price didn't end up pumping up that high, but I don't see anything deterministic coming out of the coming out of the majors right now. I'm not in an active position on Ethereum. So do I think we're going to 158? No, I think it's inappropriate to be talking about that. Let's break a baseline first. Let's put in a sell signal first. Commodity channel index still holding above the zero line, but pointed strongly down. So let's see if we do actually get that cross under. And Minx obviously below the noise line, but let's see what happens over the next few days. I don't think that this candle movement or that this choppy trend is anything deterministic at this point in time. I maintain my bullish bias on Bitcoin until told to otherwise. And with that being said, guys, it's time to take it on over. Hey guys, thank you so much for spending the last 2 hours of your time with me for yet again another live stream here at Cracking Cryptocurrency for Breaking Bitcoin Market Update. I really appreciate it. You guys had some fantastic questions today. I really enjoyed answering them. I hope you guys appreciated the news that we brought to you today, as well as the technical analysis of the markets. As always, trade safely, develop your own trading system, develop your own strategy, make your own decisions, plan your trade, and trade your plan, guys. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, sarcastic remarks, or death threats, leave them in the comments section down below, and make sure to join us in the premium group at premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com to take your first steps toward financial independence. If you're on the fence, you guys can check out all the information on the website. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit us up in the DM, and make sure to join us in the Discord no matter what you do at discord.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Coming up this weekend, I count them, 3 pre-recorded videos, high quality, amazing caliber for you guys. ByBit tutorial video number 1, part of a series. We've got my video on how to keep your Bitcoin savings indestructible. And number 3, we've got the particle interview video coming out, the first in the San Francisco Blockchain Week Tour series. So hopefully you guys are excited for that. I'm super pumped about it. I think you guys are going to love it. Looking forward to it, guys. Leave us a comment down below. Hit the thumbs up button if you have not already. And make sure to hop over to DLive and give us a follow, because it's cracking over there. And we give away lemons day around here. Is that how you say it? It's day, right? Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. We'll see you in the next one, guys. Trade safely. Be good.